Luka Doncic did not just have a good night, he sent a message. 51 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and it looked like he was playing on a different level than everyone else on the floor. He controlled the pace, picked the spots, and made the game feel easy when it should not be. That is the kind of performance that makes people stop scrolling because it does not feel like a regular big game, it feels like a warning. Now here is where the story gets real. That Bulls headline was loud, but it was not the full story. The real shock hit in the Minnesota game, the one people said would expose the Lakers. They won, they looked organized, and the biggest twist was that LeBron James did not even play. And still, the Lakers moved like a team with one clear plan, like everyone knew their job without any confusion. That is not disrespect. Oh, that is the moment you have to take seriously if you care about what this team really is. So before you pick a side, do this with me. If Luka is already this dominant, what happens when the Lakers fully lean into the version of the team that looks the most clean and the most stable? That is the question, and it is about to split the whole fan base. Drop your take in the comments right now. Is this Luka's team already, yes or no? And keep watching because the next part is where the numbers make this argument impossible to ignore. Luka's Bulls game became the easy headline because it was loud and simple to sell. A monster stat line, a clean story, and everyone posts the same takeaway. But that kind of night can trick you because it makes people watch the points and ignore the small signals that actually tell you where a team is going. If you look at that night like a reporter, the key is not just that Luka scored, it is how the Lakers carried themselves around him. Who looked comfortable making quick choices, who looked ready to play fast without waiting for someone to reset the play, and who looked like they already knew where the next pass should go. That is why the Bulls game matters, not as a highlight, but as the first hint that the Lakers were starting to lean into a different rhythm. And once you see it that way, you stop asking, was it a hot night? And you start asking, has this been building for a while? Because if this is a real trend, the proof will not be in one game. It will be in the results over time. So now let's go to the part people can't argue with, the record splits that turn this from talk into evidence. Here is where the talk ends and the receipts start. You can't brush this off as a small sample or an easy run because the split is too steady. With LeBron James in the lineup this season, the Lakers are 26-18. That is a solid team, the kind that can live in the middle of the West if things break right. But when LeBron sits, the Lakers are 14-7. That is not a tiny bump. That is a different level of winning, and the important part is what that record tells you about stability. It says the Lakers can play a clean, repeatable style when the roles are simple. It says they can stack wins without needing a perfect night from everyone. It also explains why this has people arguing so hard because it is not based on vibes, it is based on outcomes. This is why fans feel that shift even before they look at one stat. Now, if you think that record is wild, the next layer is where it gets uncomfortable. Because it is not only about wins and losses. The lineup numbers show exactly which groups are winning and which groups are getting crushed. That is the part that turns this from a debate into a problem you can actually point at. Here's the part that doesn't care about feelings. When Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves share the floor, the Lakers are not just a little worse, they get outplayed hard. The script calls it out straight. That trio posts a minus 9.8 net rating, meaning the team is losing the minutes that are supposed to be their safest ones. 3 main guys on the court, and the numbers say the Lakers are getting beat anyway. Now flip the exact same story with one change. When it is Luka and Reeves without LeBron, the net rating jumps to plus 19.3. That is not a normal swing, that is a totally different team. Same Luka, same Reeves, but now the Lakers are winning those minutes like one of the best 2-man groups in the league. That is why this turns into a real conversation, because it shows the issue is not effort or heart, it is how the pieces fit together on the floor. And this is where it gets even sharper, because the script adds one more receipt. When Luka and Reeves are the ones running the offense without LeBron, the record in that setup is 10 wins and 2 losses. That is the kind of split that forces a team to ask why it looks so clean in one version and so messy in the other. So now we stop staring at the numbers and we answer the real question. What exactly breaks when all 3 share the court? And why does it feel easier the moment roles get simpler? This is not a locker room story. It is a court story. When you put two main creators on the floor at the same time, the offense can start to feel like it is taking turns instead of flowing. One guy brings the ball up, the other guy waits, then the play resets, then someone forces a pass late in the clock. It does not look ugly every time, but it can feel heavy, like the team is thinking instead of reacting. The script's point is simple. The pieces can be great on their own and still clash together. That is why the Paul Pierce angle matters here. He is not saying anyone is bad. He is saying the skill sets can overlap too much. If both guys need the ball to control the game, then somebody is always doing a job that does not match their best strength. And when a player is doing a job that feels smaller than his talent, the whole team starts to lose rhythm. Now bring Austin Reaves into it, because this is where the fit shows up the clearest. When the ball is split between two engines, Austin can get pushed into quiet possessions, standing and waiting instead of being involved. But when the offense has one clear driver, Austin's role becomes clean. Move, cut, screen, attack a closeout, make the next pass. That is why this is not about respect or hate. It is about roles making sense. And the next part is where the Lakers find a fix that is not even about scoring. It is about how the defense changes the moment the rotation shifts. This is the part most people skip, but it is the reason this whole story feels real. Coming into March, the Lakers were 22nd in defensive rating and giving up 115.3 points per game. That is not playoff level. And the script explains the cause in plain terms. When you play three guys with real defensive limits together for heavy minutes, you end up trying to hide all three, and there is nowhere left to hide. LeBron at 41 is still amazing, but teams hunt him in pick and rolls. Luka has never been a stopper, and that leaves Austin Reaves trying to cover for too much at once. Now look at what changes the moment LeBron is out. The rotation becomes cleaner, and the defense gets tougher without doing anything fancy. JJ Redick can slide Marcus Smart to the 3 and move Rui Hachimura into the starting 5, and suddenly the wings are not soft targets anymore. But the script's point is not that one player fixes everything, it is that the whole structure finally makes sense. You get real pressure at the point of attack, you get stronger matchups on the outside, and the team stops leaking easy points. And the results are straight up receipts. In that 3-game win streak without LeBron, the Lakers held teams to 106.7 points per game, they held the Knicks to 97, and they held Anthony Edwards to 2 of 15 from the field. Then it gets even more specific. When Luka and Reaves play without LeBron, the Lakers post a 111 defensive rating, which the script calls top 10 level, and it says that defensive identity simply is not there when LeBron is in the rotation. Now that you have the defense explained, guess we can talk about the next debate the script shuts down. Why Austin Reaves without LeBron is not a lucky streak, it is a role change. People keep trying to wave this off like it is a soft stretch or a lucky run. The script pushes back hard on that. It says this is what happens when a player finally gets a role that fits him, then actually gets the freedom to live in it. Without LeBron in the lineup, Austin Reaves is not giving you a cute bump. He is putting up 28.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 7.8 assists per game across 16 games. That is not noise. That is a real sample. And it gets even louder when you put Luka next to those numbers. In that same stretch, Luka is at 35.1 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. The script's point is simple. You have two guys in the same backcourt producing like real first and second options, and it is working because their styles do not fight each other. Reaves does not need to dominate the ball to matter, but he can create when it swings to him. Then the script explains the why in easy terms. Reaves moves without the ball, comes off screens, reads fast, makes the right pass, and finishes through traffic. That is the exact type of guard you want next to a ball-heavy superstar. It even gives you Luka's own words after the Knicks win, saying playing with Reaves makes his life easy because Reaves draws attention and helps others too. That is Luka telling you this pairing is real. Now that you see why it works, the next step is the bigger question. What does this duo need around it to become something serious? And what hard decisions come with that? The script lands the plane with one clear message. Luka and Austin Reaves is the future, but this roster as it stands is not a title team. It says their two-man engine looks real, yet it also admits the ceiling is limited if the front office treats this like a finished product. This is where the tone turns serious because it is not about winning a few games in March. It is about what direction the Lakers pick for the next year and beyond. Then it hits the hard decision without turning it into hate. The script says it is tough to fit LeBron because of the simple fact that both Luka and LeBron need the ball, and that makes it harder for everyone else to stay involved. It uses JJ Redick's framing to keep it basketball, not personal. After that, but to talk's timeline, LeBron's contract coming off the books means cap space, and with Luka entering his prime, that flexibility becomes the window. Now the blueprint. The script calls for a real 3-and-D wing and a real rim protecting center, and it drops Peyton Watson as an example of the type of wing that fits next to Luka. It also sets expectations. This is not a deep playoff run yet. The final loyalty note is that this is not a LeBron legacy argument. It is a Lakers future argument, and fans need to be honest about what the numbers are saying. Then it closes with the call for comments. Where do you stand, and what would you build around Luka and Reeves? Blessings to all my subscribers, family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I catch you in the next one.